Jack Thunder and the Fragments of Anima. Book 1. Air. Chapter 7. Rise and Fall. A few days later, San made his way to Frosty's study. While he enjoyed staying at the Storm Gremlin siblings' house, he knew he couldn't stay forever. He knocked on the door. Frosty poked her head out. "Oh, is there something you need?" As soon as San saw the staff mounted on the wall, he knew. Yes, there was no doubt. This was Stormbringer. Ah, yes, that is definitely Stormbringer. I can tell. How? Frosty was confused. San sighed. He didn't want to do this. He reached into his pocket and pulled something out. Frosty was shocked when she saw what it was. It was a silver medallion with the symbol of air emblazoned on it. The same one that the air champion of Alterus had worn all those years ago. San? Yes, I am that, San. But that's not important. The world needs my aid. The Heart of Darkness is coming back. I don't know where the others are, but if we don't stop it, it will consume this land. There will be nothing left. All of a sudden, San felt woozy. He fell to his knees and panted, trying to get his bearings. Instead, it seemed as though the world swirled and faded away with each passing moment. No matter how low to the ground he sank, he still felt as if the ground was tilting, and if he let go for a single second, he would go sliding off the edge of the world. He could hear Frosty and Jack Thunder shouting, but it sounded like they were underwater. He couldn't make out anything they were saying. The last thing he saw before everything faded to black was two shapes. A tall blue one and a small green one. Both were looming over him as he lost his grip on consciousness. When San came to, he was lying down on a soft bed. "Oh, good. I thought we'd lost you." "Lost him?" San bolted upright. "What? I'm all right. I just got dizzy for a second, that's all." You did a lot more than get dizzy for a second. You'd fainted on the floor," Jack Thunder confirmed. Frosty nodded. "He's right. We both saw you pass out. And my brother's right. You don't look like you've been taking care of yourself. You just stay right there and I'll fix you some soup. Jackie, please keep an eye on him." Jack Thunder saluted her with a silly look on his face as she exited the room. He pulled himself onto the bed and sat down. Figures, San thought. The world needs my aid once more, and I pass out from starvation just as I'm about to get the one thing that can help me. Clearly I'm in no shape to handle this on my own. But I can't sit here and wait to get healthy while the Heart of Darkness is at large. Someone else will have to take over for me. But who? Mister? What are you thinking about? San looked over at the Storm Gremlin, who was now only a foot away from his face. His first thought was, this child. But that was ridiculous. He was so young, couldn't be older than 13. And didn't his sister say that he had been forbidden from using the staff again? Something about him nearly destroying the Emerald Woodland? Then again, if he were to watch the child, he could teach him how to use the staff responsibly, how to tap into its powers. And as ridiculous as it sounded, the little Storm Gremlin might just be the hope that Alterus needed. "Mister?" San snapped out of his train of thought. "Yes, young one?" Frosty brought the soup. San looked over and saw Frosty standing in the doorway. Sure enough, she had the soup cupped in her hands. As he ate, he shifted his gaze periodically, from Jack Thunder to Frosty to the ceiling and back. The more he thought, the more salient it seemed. Yes, he decided. Jack Thunder was this world's best shot at getting a new air champion. From his perspective, anyway. "Miss Frosty, can we talk in private?" "Sure. Jackie, can you go to your room, please?" Now Jack Thunder was very curious. Did this have to do with him? But he didn't want to make things harder for San than they already were, so he left. Frosty shut the door behind him. But that didn't mean he wasn't going to listen in. He couldn't make out much of their conversation, but he could make out a few parts. You really think so? Even knowing what happened with him and the staff? He already knows how to use it, he just needs some direction. But I can't bear the thought. He'll be fine. I've already vowed to take care of the wyvern. I can take care of him, too. Yep, they were definitely talking about him. After hearing that, he rushed to his room. Could it be? Was San really gonna teach him to use the staff? He didn't want to get his hopes up, but... He noticed Frosty standing in his doorway. Her expression was one of uncertainty, but resignation. Jackie, I just talked to San. He says he can teach you how to use the staff, but you're gonna have to promise to follow his instructions and take them seriously. Jack Thunder nodded profusely. Anything they said, that's what he'd do.